The Chicago Bears are officially back where fans have been waiting to see them, at the top of the NFC North. After a dominant home win and major losses by division rivals, Chicago now controls its own destiny in one of the tightest playoff races in recent memory. Before we go any further, if you love seeing the Bears back on top, hit subscribe, like the video, and share it with a fellow Bears fan. Let's ride this momentum together. Chicago now sits at 10-4, marking the franchise's first 10-win season since 2018. That year ended with a division title, and suddenly, history feels very close to repeating itself. The standings couldn't be clearer. The Bears lead the division, Green Bay sits just behind after a costly loss, Detroit is slipping fast, and Minnesota remains far back in the race. What makes this moment even bigger is where Chicago ranks across the entire conference. The Bears are now second in the NFC, not just leading the North but standing shoulder to shoulder with the league's elite. With a playoff probability north of 70%, Chicago has officially moved from hopeful to dangerous. This weekend's results completely reshaped the landscape. A major loss by Green Bay opened the door, while Detroit's defeat all but crushed their grip on the division. Suddenly, the Bears aren't chasing anymore, they're being chased. And now, everything points toward the most important matchup of the season, Chicago versus Green Bay, with the division crown directly in reach. A win would give the Bears a commanding advantage and full control of the NFC North race. No scoreboard watching. No help needed. Just win. But the story doesn't stop at standings. It gets even bigger. Green Bay suffered crushing blows beyond the loss itself. Key players went down, including a defensive star whose absence could reshape the remainder of the season, not just for the Packers, but for the entire division. While injuries are never celebrated, their impact on playoff races is unavoidable. Without one of their most disruptive defenders and with uncertainty at wide receiver, Green Bay enters the stretch run vulnerable, and Chicago enters it healthy, confident, and surging. Momentum matters in December. And right now, the Bears have it. If there were any doubts about whether this Bears team was for real, they disappeared on Sunday. Chicago didn't just beat Cleveland, they dominated them. Final score 31-3. This wasn't luck. This wasn't a fluke. This was a complete, physical, disciplined performance from start to finish. Against one of the league's top defenses, Chicago controlled every phase of the game. The numbers tell the story clearly. Chicago finished with 361 total yards, while holding Cleveland to just 192. Even more impressive, many of Cleveland's yards came during late-game garbage time. When the outcome was still in doubt, the Bears completely shut them down. Third downs didn't even matter much because Chicago kept scoring. Time of possession, field position, and physical dominance all leaned heavily in the Bears' favor. Offensively, this game was about balance and resilience. The quarterback delivered exactly what the moment demanded. After a tough performance the week before, he bounced back in the best way possible. No turnovers, 2 touchdowns, and calm control against constant pressure. Facing one of the NFL's most feared pass rushers, he stood tall, made smart decisions, and kept the offense moving. That bounce back mattered. December football is about short memory and confidence, and this performance restored both. But the heartbeat of the offense was the running game. Chicago leaned into its identity as one of the league's best rushing teams, and it paid off. The lead back turned in one of his strongest performances of the season, finishing just shy of 100 rushing yards while scoring 2 powerful touchdowns. Against a rugged defensive front, he consistently moved the chains and punished defenders. It was the kind of performance that silences critics. The offensive line wasn't perfect, but it fought. Against relentless pressure, they did enough, and that's all Chicago needed. The receiving group also stepped up in a big way. Young playmakers made contested catches, created yards after contact, and proved they belong in big moments. One receiver in particular stood out with explosive plays and fearless running, showing exactly why the front office invested in him. Veteran targets delivered when needed, while rookies continued to grow. This wasn't about one star, it was about collective execution. And then there was the defense. This was easily the most dominant defensive performance of the season. Chicago allowed fewer than 200 total yards, recorded 5 sacks, and forced 3 interceptions. The Browns quarterback, who entered the game riding momentum, was completely overwhelmed. He never found a rhythm, never felt comfortable, and never had a chance. The Bears' defense attacked from every angle. Pressure came from players across the front 7. Defensive backs jumped routes. Tackling was sharp. Communication was flawless. When Chicago forces multiple takeaways, they don't lose, and this game was no exception. This wasn't just a win. It was a statement. With the dust settling around the league, the picture is becoming clearer, and it looks very good for Chicago. The Bears sit at 10-4, second in the NFC, and firmly in the playoff field. Even more importantly, they now control their own path to a division title. No complex scenarios. No praying for help. Just handle business. Detroit's loss dropped them further back, leaving their playoff hopes hanging by a thread. Green Bay's injury concerns add pressure at the worst possible time. Minnesota remains out of serious contention. Everything now funnels toward one massive showdown. The upcoming game against Green Bay isn't just another rivalry matchup, it's a division-defining moment. A win would give Chicago the inside track to the NFC North and potentially secure a higher playoff seed, setting the stage for home field advantage. But this team can't relax. The Bears' coaching staff knows what December football demands: focus, discipline, and urgency. There's still work to be done, and every snap matters. One slip can change everything. The good news? This team is peaking at the right time. The defense is faster, smarter, and more aggressive. The offense is balanced and improving. Young players are growing under pressure, and veterans are leading with confidence. Most importantly, this team believes. Fans feel it. Players feel it. Opponents feel it. The Bears are no longer a surprise, they're a problem. If Chicago continues this trajectory, they won't just make the playoffs. They'll enter them as a team nobody wants to face. And as the season races toward its final weeks, one thing is clear: the Chicago Bears are back. The North is within reach. And the rest of the NFC has officially been put on notice. Bear down. The Chicago Bears didn't just win this week, they proved they belong among the NFC's best. At 10-4 and sitting on top of the NFC North, Chicago now controls its own destiny. With the defense peaking and the offense finding balance, this team is dangerous at the right time. December football is here, and the Bears are ready to take what's theirs.